What is up, heroes? It's Midnight Zero, and welcome back to week 11 of the NCPL. This week we're going up against Alex, coach of the Rio Raichus, and you'll notice we got our nice team builder back again. I actually took the time and effort to do this for this week, so I hope you guys appreciate it at the very least. But regardless, getting into this battle this week, I'm a little bit mixed, just kind of emotionally about the battle. I'm not too excited, to be honest, because I know Alex isn't in the top half of the league. I'm just gonna be honest. He started off really strong going 3-0, but overall he doesn't know his Pokemon as well as the other league members do. And as you guys know, if you've watched my SFL matches, my other matches, typically when I'm going up against a player who doesn't always play the best, who doesn't always bring traditional sets, who isn't as predictable, it makes me a little bit nervous, and I like to typically play safe. So yeah, to add on top of that, I know that he's not making playoffs, and he's kind of committed to memeing around a little bit with his teams, which arguably makes them worse, but also that much more unpredictable. So I don't know, I never like to be the one who always cares more, you know? I talked about this with Lizzie a lot because it's a big relationship thing, but you never want to be the person who cares more than the other person about something, because then you can be kind of it affects you negatively more, potentially, and also affects you positively more. But it's kind of similar to when I talked about my match with Noah, where by not giving as much effort on the opponent's end, it kind of devalues your winning while adding more salt to your loss potentially. So I don't know. I always look forward to battles. I love battling. I love team building and stuff. But I kind of wish the feeling was reciprocated a bit more. But regardless, let's hop into this team builder. Looking at Alex's team, the first up is Mega Pincer, which is a really strong, really hard-hitting mon. Aerolate, returns. It's just a really hard-hitting mon. It's got great priority in quick attack. It has SD, good coverage moves in close combat, and Earthquake. And that's pretty much its thing. It's super weak to rocks, though. Ooh, this music is so clean. I'm in a really Persona mood lately. But regardless, next up is Ciro B. Look at that attack stat. Base 170 attack stat, boasting the strongest outrage in the game. Ciro B is just a monster. It's not a slouch on the special attacking side too. It typically runs mixed sets. It can run Freeze Shock. It can... What else can it do? Ice Beam, Outrage, Fusion Bolts, Earth Power. It's got a bunch of everything. Sub Roost. It's a really bulky, really good mixed attacker. So really scary mon to prep for sure. Next up is Starmie. Starmie, probably one of the better spinners in the game. It can run a relatively bulky set too, because thanks to its typing and access to recover and natural cure. It can also run a really strong special attacker with analytic boosting its attacks and good good coverage moves in Psychic, Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Scald, that sort of thing. And then there's Lucario, which is really scary to fight every single time I do. It can run mixed sets, physical, it can run special, Aura Sphere, Flash Cannon, Close Combat, Iron Tail, Extreme Speed, SD, Nasty Plot. It's a real threat, that's for sure. So, gonna have to scout for it, see what it's running, if he does bring it, of course. Then we have Roserade. Roserade can be a potential Spikes lead, Spikes, Toxic Spikes, Sleep Powder, Hidden Power Fire, Leaf Storm, Giga Drain, Sludge Bomb. It's got a really good special attack stat in addition to a decent bulk from its Spadef, and hitting a so-so speed tier in my opinion. It's a little too slow to be effective at its speed tier, but not quite strong enough to be a Scarfer, so I don't know, but we'll see. Next up is Chandeleur. Now, Chandeleur is a really hard-hitting special attacker. It has really strong stab, Fire Blast, really strong stab, Shadow Balls, so it's got great coverage. That said, because of its speed tier, it typically always needs to run Scarf in order to be effective. There are sub-CM sets, and Specs is, an absolute nuke, so definitely gotta watch out for that. And then there is Cofagrigus. Cofagrigus is one of the mons that I've been wanting to use on my team for so long. It's got really great defensive stats, minus its HP, but it gets access to Pain Split, which is really good on a mon in particular with low HP. It can Will-O-Wisp things, it can Hex things, it can run Trick Room, Nasty Plots. It's a really good mon in my opinion, and Mummy is so annoying to deal with. Whenever you make contact with Cofagrigus, you lose your ability. It becomes Mummy, so it's kind of annoying, but it is what it is. Next up is Comfy. And Comfy, again, is not too crazy of Pokemon. Synthesis, Leech Seed, Draining Kiss is its main thing. Its ability Triage means it's +3 priority, what's it called? HP draining moves. And that said, it's not really that strong. It needs to Calm Mind up a bunch. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Comfy in general. Next up is Magneton. Magneton is one of the scarier mons we're going up against because, like Magnezone, it can trap our Steel types Bronzong and Scizor. It also boasts a really strong special attack, and if you want, you can also run a Violite for that extra bulk. I enjoy using Magneton with Max in the co-op league, and if used well, it can be a really effective mon for sure. Next up is Ninjask. Ninjask, adding a whole new dimension to opposing teams. It can speed pass. You know, substitute and baton pass with speed boost. It can, I don't know, no need to run a scarf or anything like that when you can pass +2 speed, etc. to just about any mon on your team. That said, it does take up a slot, so, and it can also be setup fodder, so who knows, he has brought it a few times. Next up is Rhydon. Now, Alex actually loves Rhydon. He really likes these first mons. He really likes bringing Mega Pincer, Kyurem Black, Starmie, Lucario, Roserade, and Chandeleur. Usually bringing 4 or 5 of them every single match, and then sometimes Kofagrigus, sometimes Ninjask, and a lot of times Rhydon. Rhydon is his only real, or his like main Stealth Rocker on his team, and he loves bringing, for some reason, Stealth Rock, Dragon Tail, Stone Edge, Rhydon. I don't even know what it is, but he hasn't brought Double Dance or anything else like that. It's a little bit strange in my opinion, but Rhydon's not too scary. It hits really hard physically, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not too worried about it. So, yeah. Next up is Guntank, and Guntank is one of his defoggers, and outside of that, it's not too threatening. It can be used as a lure. It gets access to some moves like Fire Blast, in addition to its interesting stabs, you know, with knockoff and all that. Its ability is Aftermath, so if KO'd by a physical move, the user of that physical move loses 25% HP, which is something to be wary of with, you know, like a Dragon Claw from Garchomp or a Bullet Punch from Scizor, that sort of deal. Next up is Pikachu. Pikachu is actually really cool. I kind of want to use Pikachu at some point in a league. When you throw a light ball on it, it doubles its attack and special attack, which is really neat. It gets a really cool move pool, and it's a decent speed tier. He's brought it a couple times. I think he brought Fake Out, Nuzzle, something else. I forget exactly what, but yeah, I don't know. And then he's also got Kricketune, and Kricketune, so far, he's brought it a couple times actually to get up webs, but that's really all it's good for. It can be kind of bulky if you invest solely in its bulk, but yeah, it's really only helpful for webs. So overall, his team, his first mons are pretty scary, to be honest. Like these early mons, Chandeleur, Roserade, Lucario, Starmie, Kyurem Black, Mega Pincer, they definitely pose a threat to almost everything on my team, but his lower tier mons kind of, I don't know. Some of them can act as like support mons for his bigger, for his like top tier mons, but I don't know, I'm not too big a fan. But regardless, getting into my team this week, we have, first of all, we have Mega Scizor. Shocker, Mega Scizor. We actually have an interesting spread this week. I knew Mega Scizor was the first Pokemon I decided I wanted to bring this week, but the last Pokemon that I decided its moveset and spread on. And at the end of the day, I wanted Bullet Punch for Kyurem Black. I wanted U-Turn for momentum. I wanted to bait stuff like Magneton. I want to get momentum against those mons, and potentially late game SD sweep. I also wanted something, because Steel types are really good against a lot of his team, especially that Kyurem Black, whether it's physical or special, I can use this to help scout it out. I 2-hit KO it, / OHKO it at +1, and I OHKO at +2, I believe, a Mega Pincer after Rocks. So, yeah. I also take hits, both physical and special, from Lucario. I take anything that's not HP Fire from any of his top tier mons. Life Orb Starmie gives me a little bit of difficulty, and Chandeleur is obviously really scary, but if he's Scarf or Choice in some sort of manner, we'll see, because he might be bringing Energy Ball. He might want to go for a Shadow Ball, something like that I can kind of take advantage of. Not really, but we'll see. He also has just a lot more special attackers than physical attackers. What it kind of comes down to. So, and Mega Scizor is already pretty bulky just in general, so yeah, I was considering more of like an offensive set, but I don't know, the rest of my team has a little bit more offense, and I didn't want to get rid of Technician with something like Kofagrigus running around, so yeah, this could be a support mon, get some chip damage, help out the other mons. Alright, so the next mon I wanted to bring was Trapinch. Yes, the Trap God is coming back. Probably not that surprising given that he has a Magneton, but also he's got a Chandelure, he's got a Magneton, he's got a Pikachu, he's got a Rhydon, he's got, what else does he have? He's got Roserade is even pretty weak. He's got Lucario. He's got some Mons. He's definitely got some Mons that do not appreciate being trapped. Earthquake can take him down. Oh, I don't know why I have Technician there for the ability. It's Arena Trap for sure. But it is mostly Spadef with a little bit of defense, just to kind of balance things out so I don't get too KO'd by a lot of things. I can actually switch into attacks potentially, but part of why I have U-turn with my Scizor is to bait in a lot of Mons that would normally have HP Fire or something like that to counter it. Maybe Chandeleur, maybe Kofagrigus even if I want to get a Toxic on that, which I definitely do because it's not going to do a lot to us. And yeah, I can use this to Earthquake a lot of things, knock things out. It's got... Oh, am I running a little bit of attack? No. I've got Rock Slide for Mega Pincer just in case. Toxic for just about everything. Substitute because if he wants to try to set up with something or do something that's not going to do much damage to me, I can substitute, basically giving me an extra turn to live or wear things down with Toxic. But that's really kind of all there is to this Trapinch. I do think he's got a lot of ground weak Mons and some Mons that can't Oko Trapinch, but I would want to Toxic for other Mons on my team. So that's why we got this Trapinch. And moving on to the next Pokemon, we have Garchomp. Our Garchomp this week is Adamant Sub-Salic Garchomp. So really interesting spread. We have just enough speed to outspeed Kyurem Black and everything below. And that means at +1 we outspeed all of those Monscarf, and we outspeed Starmie and Mega Pincer, unless Starmie is Scarfed, of course. And basically, the attack here is to pick up notable 2-hit KOs, because even when I'm max attack, or if I invest all 252 HP EVs, or attack EVs, it's not changing any calcs. I still only 2-hit KO things even after hazards most of the time. So I really only need the attack that's relevant to knock things out. And I really wanted to run a lot of defense and HP so that Pincer's quick attack doesn't break my sub. And it does 24.9% max if it's a Jolly Mega Pincer. And I think he's going to bring that because if it's not Jolly, it doesn't outspeed my Thunderous T and my Garchomp. So yeah, basically if you don't know what Sub-Salic is, basically when you're below 25%, I think that's what it is. Yeah, when you're below 25% HP, you eat your berry, and Salic Berry increases your speed by 1 stage. So basically I can substitute on things, and then once I get below 25% HP on my last substitute, what I can do is I gain I get +1 speed, and I have a substitute. So because of my attack investment, and just Garchomp being awesome, with Earthquake or Dragon Claw or Rock Slide, I can probably knock something out. He might have to go into Pincer to try to revenge kill me with Quick Attack. It won't work. I'll knock it out with Rock Slide, and I'll still maintain my substitute. And yeah, he doesn't have a lot of priority outside of that. Maybe Lucario and maybe Quick Attack from Pikachu, but yeah. So Garchomp can definitely put in a lot of work this week. I just need to get the right setup. And you'll notice that I'm bringing a lot of setup Mons. A lot of Mons that can SD, can substitute up and all that stuff. Because he has a lot of Mons like Pikachu that I can set up on. Or Ninjask that while it's protecting and substituting I can set up on. Or Kricketune while it's going for webs that I can set up on. So yeah, that's kind of the plan. Next up we have Bronzong. Now, Bronzong, I'm running max defense. It sounds like, or it looks like, it's just kind of like a careless 252, but that 252 defense is actually the difference between getting 2-hit KO'd by a max attack banded outrage, I think, max attack banded outrage from Kyurem Black. So that's why that's there. And Gyro Ball does a lot of damage to just about anything, especially if he speed passes. He will be basically powering up my Gyro Ball against everything. Earthquake is there for Lucario and Rhydon as well, because Rhydon is super slow. It's also there for Pikachu. Toxic is just there for everything else, and Stealth Rock is really helpful, especially with Mega Pincer, with Kyurem Black running around, and Chandeleur as well. I think Bronzong will be really helpful. He doesn't have a lot of physical attackers, but Bronzong does super well against all of them, so it'll be really important to have ready to go. I'm running Levitate because of Rhydon, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, moving on to the next Pokemon, we have Scrappy. Scrappy is coming back, and it's an interesting set. It's running in Assault Vest set with plenty of HP, plenty of Spadef. That's because he has a lot of special attackers, and I wanted to switch in, and Scrappy is the best from a typing standpoint, especially Kofagrigus, even Starmie. Starmie does get access to Dazzling Gleam. He has brought Dazzling Gleam Starmie in the past too, but with this investment and with the Assault Vest, the only thing we don't live is in Analytics, so on the switch in, Modest, Specs, Dazzling Gleam. So, and we live everything else below that. Whether it's Modest Life Orb, whether it's, you know, Timid, Analytic, Life Orb, like, this is a bulky Scrafty, and nothing appreciates a knockoff. It's also really helpful for even Lucario going for Drain Punches. We heal up on quite a few things. Even, this is a great switch-in for like a special Kieran Black, which I can definitely see. This is a great switch-in for Chandeleur as well. And Rock Slide is there in case he wants to get greedy and go into Mega Pincer. Poison Jab is there for Comfy, didn't really have much of a better move to use, so yeah. That's the Scrafty set. The attack there, by the way, is to 2-hit KO Kieran Black, I believe. And to 2-hit KO Roserade with knockoff. So, yeah, because this is also really helpful switching for Roserade. You might be wondering why I'm running Shed Skin and not Adamant, and that's because I anticipate potential Will-O-Wisps from Kofagrigus and potential Sleep Powders from Roserade. And Intimidate wouldn't be helpful against anything that I wouldn't rather use Bronzong for. So, yeah. Next up, and lastly, we have Thundurus T. I wasn't really sure about what to do with Thundurus T, but again, I wanted to run something that could set up. I needed a little bit more offense. I needed something that could outspeed Scarf Mons. I needed something that could hit Starmie really hard, and Thundurus T was exactly that. I didn't want to run Scarf because there's a good chance that he could speed past the things that would outspeed Scarf Thundurus T anyways, and I'd much rather just set up on that. Thunderbolt hits like pretty much his whole team really hard, and when it doesn't, Flash Cannon hits really hard, and the things that neither of those things hits really hard, aka Pikachu, those Mons don't really hit me that hard back. So yeah, I'm here to outspeed, or I'm built to outspeed like a non-speed boosting nature Starmie, and I just hit hard with max special attack. That's kind of all there is to it. I kind of ran out of fumes a little bit this week because, I don't know, I always look forward to battles, but like I said, I don't know how seriously this battle is going to be taken, so it makes it a little bit less fun in my opinion. But I am, of course, going to try my best. I do want to get that first or second seed going into playoffs. We're in a really good spot from a playoff race standpoint. We're still tied for the best record, though we lose the tiebreaker to Manu, who has the same record. And yeah, I hope you guys are at least excited for the match. I hope we can pull it off. I hope we don't get bodied by mean teams or get bodied by the unpredictability of Alex. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the battle. But until then, this is Midnight Zero, and this mission is complete.